Tonight, NBC2 investigates fire response times in Southwest Florida's largest city.
We're learning Cape Coral's time falls well below not only the national average, but also the goal the city sets for itself.
NBC2 has tracked this issue for years, and tonight reporter George Solis shares it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Well, Peter, 4 minutes or less 90% of the time. That's the standard set by the National Fire Protection Association. Cape Coral's goal is 5 minutes or less 60% of the time, but we've learned that goal hasn't been met since 2001. As soon as the call ends, the countdown is on. Every minute that goes by is a life that much more on the line.
Cape Coral Truck 4 Rescue 4 is en route.
I don't know how fast it was, but they were here quick.
Like most, Richard Brewer never expected to dial 911.
My mother-in-law was here visiting from Ohio, and when we woke up that morning, she was laying on the bedroom floor and almost incoherent.
Even though that frightful morning is now a distant memory, the importance of how fast help arrived is not forgotten.
Even if I timed it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I'd have said, boy, that was longer than that.
According to the numbers, it was more likely closer to 6, because while Brewer wasn't keeping track,
it's going to take us at least 5 years to turn this trend up.
Cape Coral Fire Chief Donald Cochran is.
It took us 13 years to get here, degrading.
Reality is, says Chief Cochran, the department is well short of its goal of getting to 60% of calls in 5 minutes or less. The last time they hit that mark was in 2001.
It's going to go down even further this year.
NBC2 collected the average response times for the City of Cape Coral Fire Department. We learned of more than 19,000 calls in 2013. It reached that internal goal a little more than 34% of the time.
A lot of factors: population, growth, changes in demographics, those type of things relate to the increased call volume and such.
The chief explains there is more than one solution to this problem. Each one laid out in detail in this, a master plan for the next 10 years.
The west side of the city is lacking. These are our longest response times.
That's why part of the plan includes adding 2 fire stations to that segment of the city. The other part, not sending a fire truck to every emergency call.
We don't want to miss a call, but we do need to make sure that we address the public's concern that, a fire truck's not needed on every call.
Based on his experience, Brewer has faith in his firefighters and is happy to see the plans to improve.
Just because you want response time at 60% doesn't mean that once you achieve that, you shouldn't be going at 70%.
Now, the controversial fire assessment, which is a source of money, continues to be tied up in the Florida Supreme Court. But city officials say that money isn't needed for those new stations.
George, how do the Cape's response times compare to other areas of Southwest Florida?
Well, Peter, we pulled the data from other areas and found that across the board, the average response times are actually fairly similar. The difference here is simply the length of time Cape Coral has been dealing with it. The takeaway here is that all these men and women are working to get to you as fast as they can, as safely as they can.
Thank you, George.